Now, Lewis Hamilton has replied strongly to Wolff when it comes to the comments that the team principal of Mercedes made towards the 7-time world champion, as it now seems like there's more and more love lost between these two. With this relationship looking to end on a sour note, were Mercedes right to let go of Hamilton and not fight for his signature? And if so, will this turn back to haunt them further down the line? It goes without saying that one of the biggest bombshells in the sport has been made by Hamilton earlier in the season, or more precisely, before the pre-season testing has even started. He announced his departure from Mercedes even before testing the W15, which is something that didn't sit well with Wolff, as the Austrian was adamant that this prevented him from talking with drivers like Norris and Leclerc, even though he knew that the time of his team and Lewis parting ways was coming sooner rather than later. Nevertheless, Wolff made a comment about Hamilton's shelf life and hinted that the age is a huge factor towards Mercedes' move, which means that this is something that could easily offend the 7-time world champion. Ferrari had no issues in signing Hamilton, as they found it very easy to agree on working terms, according to Vasseur, and Hamilton himself has expressed his latest feelings about Wolff's statement regarding the departure of the 7-time world champion. Addressing these comments, Hamilton went on to say, "I think just me being here, standing tall, I feel strong and I've been training well. Honestly, I feel like I'm in the best place I've been mentally, and considering how bad the last race was, I think that says enough. I've been around this game for a long time. There's been so many things that have been said about me. There's been so many microaggressions, not from my boss because he's been supportive, but in general within the media. Nothing can take me down. I'm still here, I'm fighting, and I'm going to continue to push." Now, there is one very important thing that we need to stress out here. Hamilton considered retiring from Mercedes and not participating in the last 3 races of the season in Interlagos for a brief moment. And it looks like the 7-time world champion is now definitely done with the team that is just simply not answering his request in any possible way. The silence that was present on the radio after the race in Canada, as well as the message that Hamilton sent to his race engineer regarding this potentially being the last race of him, goes to show that he cannot wait to get out of that environment as soon as possible. And when discussing this to a greater extent, Hamilton said, "In the moment when I was giving that message to the team, that's how I felt. Like I really didn't want to come back after that weekend. In the heat of the moment, for sure, I would much rather be on the beach and chilling, and I don't need to do this. But I'm here, I love this job, and I'm going to give it my all in these last few races and finish strong. That was always the plan." But still, the beef that is currently present behind closed curtains between Wolff and Hamilton is something that's captured the attention of the media. Of course, statements like this mean that Hamilton has been directly supportive towards Wolff, but nevertheless, it's definitely easy to understand that there is pressure between both sides because of how Mercedes have acted with Russell and Hamilton on separate occasions. Brazil was one of them, where Russell was fighting in the front and had a legitimate chance to win the race had it not been for the severe circumstances, where, on the other hand, Hamilton was fighting at the back of the grid with rookie drivers for scrap points. This further fueled comments that the team might be sabotaging Hamilton to a great extent, and while that's been heavily denied by the team itself, it's not something that we can guarantee with certainty. The future is in Russell and Antonelli, and Wolff has been loud and clear that this is the direction that they're working towards. But they still have 3 more race weekends to go with Hamilton, and whether they like it or not, Hamilton would have to drive the W15 for the remainder of 2024 and do all of the duties with Mercedes after the finale in Abu Dhabi. Obviously, there was a situation in which Mercedes could have let Hamilton do the tyre test for Ferrari in Abu Dhabi, similar to what Alpine did to Piastri and Red Bull to Gasly. However, the Silver Arrows were adamant that they have a lot of diplomatic work with their partners that involves Hamilton as well, which prevents him from debuting with the Maranello team earlier than anticipated. When talking about the comments that he made towards Hamilton, however, Wolff wanted to make sure that the air is clean and that there are no bad feelings between them, because it's not something that's been said out of hatred or bad blood because of Hamilton's move to Ferrari. Furthermore, the Austrian said, "You know, my comments were taken a little bit out of context. What I was referring to was that all of us age, whether it's in the car, on a pitch, or as a manager or entrepreneur. And that's what I'm trying to do with myself. Understand, am I going from great to good? Because good is not in Formula 1 anymore." Now, contrary to my own self-assessment, I think we see with Lewis that he's very much there when the car is right, and we haven't been able to give him that car to perform his best, and that's a frustration that we share equally in the team and for himself. But he's very sharp, he's different from when he was a 20-year-old, that's certainly clear, but his experience and racecraft are tremendous. Now, what's been certain is that Ferrari are more than eager to start the season with Hamilton, and Vasseur himself said that the 7-time world champion wouldn't need days and days to accommodate the car that he's going to drive. He'll need a couple of hours in it, and it will feel completely natural. But what doesn't feel right for Mercedes is that one of the greatest teams in the world has been able to sign one of the greatest drivers in the world, and the age, something that Wolff emphasized as a very important factor in the future of the team, hadn't been mentioned by Vasseur at all. When talking about signing Hamilton and how easy it was to persuade him to this move, the Frenchman went on to say, "It wasn't difficult to convince Hamilton to sign with us actually. Ferrari has always been in his thoughts in some ways, and now the stars have aligned. But he comes to win, not on vacation, and I'm convinced that we have everything to try. I'm not sure that Hamilton needs tons of hours of acclimatization. He's experienced enough to be quick on the first day, or at least very soon. We'll have 1 or 2 tests of previous cars, plus the test in Bahrain, and that will be enough. For sure, we have part of the team already focused on 2025, on the test plan, on the communication and so on, with Lewis being part of this. But when it comes to the race team, it's not on my mind." This season will definitely go down as one of the weirdest in Hamilton's career, because even though he's been constantly critical of the W15 and labelled it as one of the worst cars to be driven in his career, he managed to win 2 races with it, Silverstone and Spa. A brief reminder, Hamilton hasn't won a race prior to these 2 since Jeddah back in 2021, when he was the main protagonist for the championship against Verstappen. Nevertheless, the upgrades that the team has brought to the car didn't work, and Hamilton wasn't listened to enough, which just went on to prove that after 2021, Wolff and the team might have given up on trying to secure the 8th championship with Hamilton, which was proven by the signing of Russell. Of course, the destination for the younger Brit was always Mercedes, but Hamilton has opposed this move because he knew that if he was to win a championship with the team, he needs Bottas as his teammate and not Russell. So it was the first move of Mercedes trying to focus on the post-Hamilton era that they knew was going to happen regardless of what's going to happen with the new rules. The good news for Hamilton and Ferrari is that Leclerc is very happy about the 2025 chances that the Maranello team has, and when addressing the chances to compete at the front, the Monegasque driver, and the first opponent that Hamilton needs to beat in order to secure the 8th record-breaking championship, went on to say, "I feel like we're working well. However, it's a relative sport and it all depends on how well the others are doing as well. And they're doing super well for now. So we've got a lot of hard work to do in the next few years. But I believe in the project. I have to believe in the project 100%, and I'm sure that Ferrari is the next team that will be world champion. We just have to keep working." So with all this in mind, do you think that Hamilton's statement towards Wolff's stance is something that proves that he still has it and will win a championship with Ferrari? And furthermore, do you think that Mercedes will regret not investing more in Hamilton and focusing a lot on their future and their youth? Let us know in the comments down below.